able to hear me?
Jai Hind, sir. Yes.
Okay.
Loud and clear.
Thank you so much. You are also saying
Thank you
strength
so
5.
much, sir.
Yeah. Welcome.
Thank you
And
so much, sir. Thank you
people are
so much.
excited. Around 15 people are there, and the strength will be growing and quite some time.
Sure, sir. Sure,
बहुत
sir.
बहुत दिन हो गया कि ऐसे connect होके on a social media platform.
Absolutely, sir. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So I'm just following also this Nira, your studio, yoga studio is growing from strength to strength slowly. Yeah, some point I took some amount of inspiration from you also. Yes, being a Fauji, when you go out, you can do something unique and then you can survive.
Exactly, sir. And I mean, just trying our bit.
Yeah,
Just trying our
I'm sure
bit.
your mom support will be tremendous.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. She's, in fact, one of my regular students.
Okay, all right. So today you can just share us about what made you to join armed forces, how this fire started in you, and then how it continued, and then some memorable moments of your life in armed forces, especially. You starting from your training, and then you can just continue.
Sir, so starting with what led me to wear the uniform, I think so the inspiration was there in the home because my father was also in the army.
All right.
And the thought of getting into the armed forces started at an age of like 11 or 12. I must be in 5th standard. And
Okay.
that's when the first thought came. But back then I wanted to be a pilot. That was the
Okay.
wish. But yeah, slowly as you grow in your life, you have more exposure, you come to know. When I was entering college that time, I knew women only joining through the special entry scheme or
NCC specifically.
uh, NCC special entry scheme and the women's special entry scheme.
Mm-hmm.
And the third was the doctors, through the AFMC exam. So I was like, okay, chalo, let me take biology as a subject so that there is one opportunity from that. Because what I had heard was that clearing the, getting screened or shortlisted for the SSB was also very difficult as part of the women's special entry scheme.
Yeah.
It wasn't that easy an affair. So somehow I was like, okay, you have to study well so that you fit into the category, and all those things started off. Then I came to know about, when I was in college, I came to know about, okay, you can take up NCC, and NCC can be one of the medium to join the armed forces.
Okay.
We were lucky. That was the time I'm talking of 2006. 2006, the Combined Defense Services examination opened its doors for women officers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was a moment of joy for me. I was like, okay, this is something I can work upon, I can prepare for, and that's how the preparation started. The first exam, you'll be amazed, sir, I went without any preparation as such. It was just
That is
normal
for the
reading
written
newspaper.
examination.
Yeah, just like
Written
that. Like
examination. Okay.
I just went. I had filled the form, and 1 week before the CDS exam, I had my C certificate exam of NCC.
Okay.
So I was focused on preparing for it. I was also the best cadet for my directorate. I was into those activities of Republic Day camp. And reading newspaper was something I was doing from my first year of my college.
Okay.
Generally, like parents generally tell, now you're in college, you should start reading newspapers, start watching news and all those stuff. And I have
That you are
always been
becoming
very fond of
adolescent, you are growing, understand the world, what is happening outside.
Exactly. Now you're a youth, so you should be more responsible and understanding all these stuff. So I didn't do anything exclusively to prepare for CDS. It was simply reading this newspaper, and I think so. What really helped me was this routine that I had set for myself. That morning, come what may, I am spending half an hour with the newspaper. I am trying to understand what is going on in the world scenario, on a global scenario, on a national scenario. Just being aware, I think so, that really helped me a lot. And as an NCC cadet, I think so that really expanded my exposure, because you are doing activities on World AIDS Day, you are doing activities on different such occasions, spreading awareness, connecting to the people, explaining them about these things.
Yeah.
So that also kind of increased my exposure, and I think so that made it not limit to just acquiring a degree from a college, and it was more on having an overall group. And somewhere since childhood, I've been a person who has been involved in extracurricular, co-curricular. I loved participating in quiz.
Okay.
So, yeah, like NTSC and then Terra quiz and all such competitions. I have been a constant participant of these things.
So, but
So somewhere,
is it your parents who pushed you into this, or they introduced you, or you yourself find out, okay, is there any quiz competition, and then you move on?
oh no, I was on my own. I have been a science freak throughout. So
Okay.
I love doing all this stuff, preparing models for some exhibition. Through and through, I have been,
Experimenting.
yeah, so I have always been such a kid. So like this was one part of me. The other part was always I was into some sports. I learned karate. I started learning karate in class fourth. In fourth
Okay.
standard, I started with karate. And the choice was either you learn Bharatnatyam or karate. I said, okay, let me try karate. So that worked for me actually. So somewhere I think so naturally I was a person who wanted to indulge in activities which are outdoor, where you are putting physical involvement as well as mental involvement.
So good. So
And
you are able to balance both physical
correct.
as well as the books, and not only subject books, something beyond.
Exactly. So always I have been that child who has been picked up as a class monitor or a school prefect or a school captain, So that inculcating that leadership was not very difficult for me. I would say I was blessed that it was already in some way I was getting exposure in that. And NCC of
Maybe
course
grooming,
added the icing on the cake.
yeah, maybe grooming from your childhood, your parents, the way they disciplined you, something. Definitely some impact will be there. There is no doubt in that.
Absolutely, I think so. A lot comes for a child from the parents because they initially they mimic their parents. So when I
Yeah.
see that my mother is going for a walk in the evening or playing badminton, my father is going for a run. So I'm like, okay, what should I do? I should also
Uh,
do something. So
Correct, correct.
the child mimics the parents. So I tell this even when I was taking these handwriting enhancement classes for children during
Hmm.
COVID. I used to encourage the parents to sit with the children because when parents do such activities, the children will get interested in that.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think so. A lot was the environment which was provided. Definitely, I think so. A big, like deep gratitude to my parents for providing that environment, and
Okay.
somewhere me recognizing the value of it. Because many a times we have the environment, but we don't recognize its value.
Correct.
We're like,
When
we
that
are
environment
parents.
goes away from us, then we feel like what we missed out.
Exactly. Like when we were going to the academy, that was the first time I was leaving house. So
Okay.
till my post graduation, I've been with
Family.
mom.
Hmm.
So father was always most of the time he was in the field or something like that. And after I joined college, he wasn't around much because we have to be static at a place.
Hmm.
So at least mother was at least there. But now academy means no contact for those many
Correct.
days. Once a week, if you are blessed, you will get a chance to make a STD call.
Correct.
And God forbid if a senior is standing in front of you in the line, then you are gone. You can forget the call.
Nowadays, things have changed a lot. Things have changed a lot.
Yes. And if at one point we may think that our training was tougher and these days it's easier, I think so we are comparing it wrong, sir. I personally feel the whole global scenario is changing,
Hmm. Correct.
and it is equally challenging for the coming generation, no doubts about it.
Correct.
So that's how has been my journey, my inspiration, and that constant environment. And so I didn't have to prepare as such for the first exam. So I just went and I went for a picnic and gave the exam and came back. I clearly
But
written.
But anybody who is listening to this should not feel like, okay, you can just go and clear. She
No,
has been preparing
yes,
from
don't
class
take
10
wrong
onwards.
inspiration.
No, no.
Now the
From class,
competition is more,
college,
sir.
no, not that. From college days, you are reading newspaper, which you should, if somebody is following that, then it will be easy process.
Exactly. So if something is already a part of routine, sir, it's something like if you are running daily, you are preparing for your marathon run. If your body is used to doing it in routine, you'll be able to run in one go.
Then there is no separate coaching of this thing, practice, preparation required because you're already tuned in the process of doing it.
Exactly. So you're not in a shock that oh God, it is an exam. That's not happening.
Hmm.
It's some and CDS is not like your college exam, which you can prepare at the last day, read some
Yeah.
guide, 10 questions, and you are done. That doesn't happen that way. So
Yeah.
definitely, I think so. The routine. That's why, sir, I emphasize on a routine, because routine will let you help take the shock easily.
Hmm. Correct.
So your body, your mind is in place, is in sanity, and you're able to attempt the paper as if you are doing an everyday solving. That should be
Consistency
the
only.
way to prepare.
Consistent every day. If you're doing this like a prayer workshop, I normally in my classes I used to tell the exact same thing. If you have to prepare for SSB, don't not like 8 days, 10 days, 8 hours at length. Nothing required. Half an hour every day. But
More
something
than
like
enough.
a ritual. It should be like a ritual every day. Like you getting a brushing, similar to that. Without that, I'm not going to do anything else. Likewise, without this, I'm not going to reach my bed. This is what I'm doing. Keep on telling my aspirants, keep do this. Surely you will pass.
And one thing, sir, which I always tell people who ask me about preparation for SSB or CDS, I say, take a paper, write down what you're committing. I will sit for, say, 3 hours. Right. I will sit for 3 hours for the next 3 months and prepare. Because when we write down, it is like a
Commitment,
contract.
commitment,
Yes.
commitment.
And if you keep it in front of you, your guilt will tell you have to
Ah,
sit and study.
correct. You can't cheat yourself, no?
Yes, yes, sir. So when I went for my second exam, by then, of course, I had joined for my masters, and I had not cleared my first SSB, and
Okay.
it was a very evident mistake, and I even if I look back now, I feel that why did I even say that? What made me say that? So it was a question they asked me, what are your negatives?
Okay. In interview or the
Yes,
conference?
yes, and I was like confused. Should I be honest or should I be smart?
Not enough.
So I said, no, 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 I have to be honest. And I said that, sir, I am a little short tempered. And I knew that
Okay.
I have spilled the bean there. So it was, but then later on when I introspected, I felt, no, that cannot be the only reason. There are many other aspects. Your physical bearing, I was little on the higher side, so your
Okay.
personality also looks very different. How you
Hmm.
walk, how you talk, your ability to do things, how dynamic you are, everything changes, sir, if your physical body is in a different realm. So by the time I went for second CDS, I had set in a routine where I would get up 3:30 in the morning, and I like studying in the morning. So
Okay.
that has been something with me, that I can get up and study in the morning. Absolute freshness.
Yeah. Bliss
And
and
I
no,
don't have to.
no disturbance per se from any part of the world.
Yes, 9:30 sharp, 9:30 quarter to 10, even till date, sir. Unless there is an event or something, even in when I was in the army, come what may, by 10 I was in bed,
Night. Okay.
and I would get up at 5:30, 6 latest. 6 I am up. Nothing
Uh-huh.
beyond that.
Okay.
So this having a routine and the same time doing things at the same time, sir. That muscle memory is very important for us, especially for aspirants who are preparing.
Yeah.
Because your
Definitely.
body is getting used to stay active at a particular time of the day. Now, if you change that time every now and then, your body says, I am not studying here. You do whatever you want to do. I am
Correct.
not going to, register things. So, timings, having a routine, having a meal routine, a meal discipline. Um, Although I have been on a plump kid always, but my food habits, I'm not fond of soft drinks. I'm not fond of chips and all this. As a kid, I have never had those things. I've
Okay.
never been naturally fond of that, probably because it
Almost.
comes from the sports background.
Maybe. Yeah.
So,
It happens and genetically also some impact is there. My son does not take sweets. I don't know why.
yes,
I don't know
I
why.
can't I can't eat sweets. I'm a big no to sweet. The moment I see sweet, I'll be satiated. That is the say. I can't eat sweets. So
It's something to personality driven. You can't change much.
yes, yes. But all these things, if I look back, sir, that's what helped me to stay alert, stay active, be awake for so many hours of the day, and yet not be tired, and do my preparation and not lose my focus. Like these days, the biggest challenge I feel is an attention span and having a focus.
Focus has gone down so much. Especially the
It's a
mobile phone.
60-second reel. I always say these days the attention span is a 60-second reel.
Reduced
That's
30
all.
seconds now. 30
30
seconds.
seconds. Now 30 seconds and 15
Now
seconds is
whatever I have
just
to convey to aspirants, I'm trying to put it in 30 seconds because they can't see more than this.
correct. But that's not a great way of having a depth in your intelligence and your intellect. You are just superficially then covering the things for yourself. This is what I'll tell the aspirants today, because these distractions are only going to increase. So you have to be intelligent and see that when to snip off things. Our time, I think so, we were lucky. We had no distractions. There was no pubs. There were no clubbing. I mean, recently I was telling something. The only party, if you ask me, birthday party used to be what? People coming home to my place, Amma making idlis, dosas, sambar. That is the birthday party.
Correct.
And that interaction also was very productive. It was not something which was destructive in nature. So
Even
your
nowadays,
company,
productivity is there anytime. We can't quantify nowadays. Nobody's not doing a productive job. They are all doing their. Only thing is, like as you mentioned correctly, maybe we were lucky not to have these many distractions, which is presently
exactly.
happening.
Yes, yes. We can't put it on a platter or on a platform of good and bad. So that will be too unjust to the generation.
Correct.
But definitely, there is a lot of distraction which the youth have to address for
So
themselves.
how to address is what you will go tell,
Yes. Now
like
let's go into it.
meditation or maybe through your yoga. I'm sure you
So
have done some amount of research in last 2 years, whatever you are doing. Today I won't
absolutely, sir.
expect that from you. That's why this session is there.
Yes. So my like in yoga also, the most important thing we speak about, focus, attention, and to hold on to it. How long you can hold on to that attention? How can it become a continuous attention? That is what is meditation, if you ask
Okay.
me personally. Meditation is not that you sit and you feel some bliss mode. That bliss mode will not happen always, firstly. Because
Okay.
your mind has so much of muck. Where will all that go? It has to come out in something. So in yoga, this is the coordination we are looking at: mind, body, and yourself, your breath, because the breath is the most gross form of your life form. So that's why
Yeah.
the breath comes into play. And if one can do this test very easily, whenever, say, aspirants, if they are sitting for studies, they have to just place their hand beneath their nose, check which nostril is more dominant.
Okay.
Now, the left nostril represents Ida and the right represents Pingala. So one represents calmness or the coolness, and the
Which one?
other represents the left one,
Okay.
the left nostril, and the right one is all about activity,
Okay.
alertness, enthusiasm. And then you have a central nervous system, or the Sushumna, which is aligned with the central nervous system, which brings that balance of both.
Okay.
Now, the school that I belong to of yoga, Hatha, it is basically a Hatha concept, and Hatha concept talks of balancing these two, bringing a state of equanimity, so that irrespective of the challenges in life, you don't lose your focus. You are
Okay.
equally involved, yet you know when to detach, move on to the other task. So that kind of a detachment and attachment, that kind of an involvement, once sets into your habit, your lifestyle, you will able to perform better in things.
Okay.
So even a simple breath tells you, if your left is active and your right is not active, that means somewhere you are either feeling sluggish or you are calm. These are the two possibilities. Or
Okay.
your body is in a relaxed state.
Okay.
And for children, for students, if they want to really be alert and study well, then they should ensure that both are active at the same time. Both are balanced. There is a state of
Okay.
homeostasis.
Okay.
And for this, we have something called as the Nadi Shuddhi, which is one of the best practice. Anulom Vilom, very popular during the COVID. Everybody was doing it to get immunity.
Okay.
but but there are much more benefits of these breathing techniques. So Anulom Vilom is nothing but, I will do a quick
Yeah.
demonstration. One should sit comfortably, preferably on the floor, in the normal way how we sit with our legs crossed.
Yeah.
And
Gotcha.
this is the mudra for this one. So index finger and your middle finger.
Okay.
If we see why we close this, if we see all the fingers are controlling one of the lobes of the brain, and these two handle our frontal, and I'm forgetting one more. These are the lobes which actually give us intelligence.
Okay. Intelligent.
So when you're curling your fingers, you're kind of activating it. And you hold it. This is called Nasikagra Mudra or Pranayama Mudra to be simply put. One has to inhale from both nostrils, and it shouldn't be that what we see in the TV like that is not what we are looking at. Deep breathing has nothing to do with these sounds. So one has to just, so you can try with me, sir, and few rounds, I'm very sure you like this. So slowly you have to inhale from both nostrils.
Okay.
Close the right nostril gently with the right thumb. And exhale from the left nostril. Slowly inhale from the left. Try to fill your abdomen as much as possible with the breath. Close the left nostril, exhale from the right. Inhale from the right. Close the right nostril, exhale from the left. And after that, just keep your eyes closed, observe, let your breath come back normally. And slowly, if you open your eyes, I mean, we did just one round. This is one cycle. 5 minutes, 5 minutes of this will give you so much calmness. We have just done one round, and I'm very sure you would be feeling quite refreshed in just one round.
There is a difference in myself. I'm feeling something insane.
Yes, so it actually opens up firstly your respiratory system. Both the channels, nostrils get opened up, and secondly, you are activating both sides of your brain. You're slowly bringing that homeostasis which your body needs. And now if you sit and study or even meditate, this is the best state of yours.
Okay, so at the best state of your mind where you are able to do a work genuinely, like where there is less of distraction per se. The mind is free of distractions. Understood.
So this is a practice for 5 minutes every day morning, empty stomach can be done. After a little bit of warm up, say some spot jogging or a run, you can do this practice. And definitely it will change in concentration, bring a big change in concentration.
Now, one more question I specifically have is like I train most of the candidates, I like train them, but there is something called performance pressure. Yes. When the moment they realize they are being assessed by someone, I've seen this as I said, like a boy on a normal day will be okay. When he's roaming with his friends, he's absolutely fine. But the moment he is coming in front of me for assessment, his normal basic set is disturbed. Yes. And then the panic comes. And I can make out he can perform, but he'll not be able to perform because he feels like I have to perform more, and in the process he loses out. Yes. So is there any way a candidate can practice and groom himself in such a way that, okay, if he realizes, okay, he's got a performance pressure suddenly, can he do a short thing maybe in less than 30 seconds time? Because that is what he might get in front of an assessor. Yes, yes. So is there anything which he can just think of so that he can feel like, okay, I'm under performance pressure, I should revive out of it and then to just give my normal best performance? Absolutely, sir. We call this as sankalpa or an affirmation. So before you are going for a test, say you have 30 seconds, you have to enter now, for an interview. 30 seconds, just sit. Just a second. Guys, how many are interested to know this? Just put Y in the comment. Yes, we should see because we are told, sir, there's we both are speaking. Yeah. Like, whoever is interested, who wants this tip, just put a Y in the comment box. Correct. People like waiting. They are. So many waves coming up. Guys, come on, just put Y. Yes. Somebody stepping there. In yoga, we say that it's a very like if we see there is a book, sir, called Hatha Yoga Pradipika, and it says that the yogic practices are secretive in nature, so they should be given only. when there is a demand, somebody rightfully ask for it. I want this. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I think so that goes to any form of education. Yeah. So we got a lot of yes. I think so we can. One has to first sit comfortably. Place your right palm on the belly, on the navel center. Close the eyes. Simply do deep abdominal breathing. Simply do. Simply when you are breathing in, breathing out. Breathe in, breathe out. And while you do this, you just
read out that affirmation for your mind that I'm here to give my best. I will do my best.
All right.
And
Normally, uh,
and
no, after
say
you,
a short prayer. And say any short prayer that, just join a hand. Because again, this mudra, what we say namaskara, the namaskara touches your heart and it touches the ends of your ribs. If you bring your hand closer,
okay,
so this forearm is touching the ends of your ribs. So this
okay,
kind of expands your entire chest, relaxes your entire chest. If you do this, it puts a certain pressure on your chest.
okay,
Yeah, so
okay,
it's like a support. You're giving a support to your respiratory system, and you feel so much lighter. You will feel more, energetic and less of conflict in the mind. That is why we do namaskar as a gesture of greeting.
okay,
So it puts
all
the heart at ease because we are pressing on the chest, heart center.
okay,
So it puts the heart at ease. And then
okay,
say
all right.
short prayers. Offer a prayer to anyone, anybody you look up to. Just say that I am doing my best. You be with me. That's all.
Hmm.
Invocation or prarthana, what we call in Sanskrit, or invocation, is a very good way to experience the power of the divine in us. This might sound
Okay,
very too much high flying, but it's a very simple thing if we understand that just by saying that, okay, I'm offering my efforts,
hmm.
your perspective to your efforts change and you'll do well.
Okay,
You'll naturally do it. So in Surya Namaskar, we have this, whenever we do the Surya Namaskar series, so we have to say a prayer before that, visualize the sun and say the prayer and say, I offer this practice to you.
okay,
I have experienced myself. When I say it, when I don't say it, the performance changes.
okay. There's a difference,
There's a
100%.
difference. That's the human psychology. If you say you're offering this to someone, by somebody, you must have come across students, sir, who would say that, sir, because of you I could clear the SSB,
Hmm.
because subconsciously they had this thing that I have to do it for sir.
Okay,
So it brings lot of compassion in us. It brings that feeling of having a support system for us, and it also,
okay,
the moment we put that intention of offering it, we do it with lot of dedication. That's the
okay,
only thing. It's pure human psychology happening.
okay.
So
Okay, because I've seen candidates telling me, "Ki, sir, this time I will get recommended, if not for anyone, sir, at least for you." I said, like, why are you saying like this? You have to get recommended for yourself.
yes,
Now I
I mean, as
understood.
mentors,
Now I
we say
understood the
that,
meaning.
but we should discourage this thought of
Hmm.
theirs. We should encourage whosoever it is, but do it for them. And offering it to our parents, offering it to our mother. These are simple ways to bring in dedication and devotion in our activity.
All right. Okay.
And
Okay, guys.
you
That
just see this beauty, sir. All these things have been written by our yogis 5,000 years ago.
and, and Indians we didn't follow. Luckily, presently now it is being promoted, and then like world is taking a look at it. Otherwise, it's good that we revived it.
Yes, yes.
Okay. I just want to ask that this thing again, just to control the breath. What is it? This thing you said, you put your hands here and then take deep breath
It's
at your
a
abdomen.
sectional breathing technique where you use the abdominal section to do the breath.
Okay.
Yes.
Especially now, anybody is listening, if you're going for, normally the panic sets in for them just before the command task. Because
Yes.
till then, the GTO is always addressing you in a group environment. Only the command task, now you'll be called in person. And that is when those things straight away come into their mind. Ki, now I'll be called, I have to go closer to him. That's why
Yes.
we also strike a conversation and then ease them out. Okay, how are you? You're coming from which place and all those things. So now
Correct.
anybody, again, there's a small tip which is given by Major. It is just that when you're waiting to be called, relax yourself so that the pressure has gone away from you. You are just doing your best. That's all. No need of doing that. I have to do it this time. I have to do this time. It's just one other a day in your life where you're just being asked to do something in front of the GTO. If you're able to do, definitely can do it. So follow this tip so it can help you all.
In fact, I would like to add on, sir. Uh, you would be guiding the students to stand in certain way, take
Hmm.
notice their body language. Now, what is this body language actually doing to us?
Hmm.
When you sit in a chair comfortably, keeping your knees parallel, your feet firmly on the ground, and your hands on the knees,
Neat.
on the thighs, what are you trying to do? You're actually trying to ground yourself. This is what
Ground
we
and
do
maintain
in.
composure and bring calmness in you.
Yes, it is bringing an alertness, but at the same time you're calm, you're
Ah,
relaxed. So just by pressing our feet on the ground, if you see, if you travel in aircrafts, if the turbulence is disturbing you, this is what they tell, that okay, place your
ah,
feet on the ground, remove the shoes, place your feet on the floor. That is a sense of grounding that we get.
okay. We feel
So
like we are safe.
postures are what? Postures, if we talk, what are asanas that we are doing in yoga? They are also postures. So
Hmm.
there is definitely an impact of every posture. If we sit sluggishly, we will feel lazy. Any of
Correct,
us.
definitely. Yeah.
If we sit straight,
It is vice versa also. You are feeling sluggy, that's why you're slouching.
yes,
You're not upright. When you're alert, you're upright and active. When you're coming
correct.
forward, just like in group discussion, if somebody comes forward, it means he wants to put across his points. Somebody who's
Precisely.
sitting like this is indirectly conveying to everybody, and thank you. You all can discuss. I'm not
You can
interested.
discuss. Absolutely. So there is a lot of that posture correction also which takes place if you do yogic practices. Some
Okay.
people don't understand their gestures. Some people don't understand their body language. Yoga is a very good way to explore and understand your body better.
Okay. Now, this segment is so exciting, and now I got some more clarity in this thing. Now, next segment is what is for about your handwriting. This thing you're doing now. What is it called? Calligraphy.
Graphology.
Graphology, correct. Now, again, this is also part of SSB now. Psychology, when they all write the
Yes.
psychology, entire assessment is purely based on the, yes, some amount of impact is based on the handwriting as well.
Yes.
So, I want you to throw some light on that.
So handwriting, if I have to tell, sir, is just like the ECG or a Richter scale. Whatever is going in your mind, you are converting it into a written form,
Form, some form.
some form. Okay. Uh, there are graphologists who just by your scribbles, not even a written thing, just by some scribbles on your paper, they can tell that what you're thinking or what is your mind state.
At that
So
point in time.
yes, at that point of
Let
time.
me see. Okay.
Precisely. So handwriting, like so many children, they have sent, ma'am, just see my tag, just see my VAT. So the first thing my observation goes in is on the handwriting. You know, the first thing I observe is the handwriting, and it gives me so much insight into what they are thinking, what state of mind they are sitting for the exam. There are it precisely brings out certain qualities which are dynamic and qualities which are static to us. So you can
Okay.
easily differentiate the inherent qualities of an individual and what qualities are probably because of the state of mind
At that point in time,
at
with
that
whatever
point of
stimulus they
time.
got,
Correct,
whatever stimulus
correct.
is making them to react that way.
So if they put lot of pressure and write on the paper, that immediately gives out that there is a stress, there is an element of stress. And if they just light very lightly, where you can't even see the strokes properly, it can give either they are very casual about it, not interested, or they are literally, out of this world nirvana type of people
Okay.
who are like, okay, chalo, aa gaya SSB de diye, and then it's done. So a
Okay.
lot. In fact, you will be amazed, sir, that our interest, like you said, in the group discussion, if somebody moves forward, you come to know that this person is willing to help, willing to participate. The same happens with our handwritings also. If there is a
It,
right slant, now right
now,
is always
it,
with,
it is amazing me actually.
yes, but it is like that, sir. You will be
Okay.
amazed that the left shows regression and the right shows progression. That is why we write from left to right.
Okay.
So when you're writing from left to right, if somebody's slant is towards the right,
Uh,
it shows that the person is trying to put in effort. There is active, there is that interest, there is that forthcomingness.
okay.
And if it is to the left,
Left.
that
Shifting
means
left.
that person is like, don't come and talk to me.
Conservative. Conservative. I call that.
Conservative. Um, Sometimes it is also, it can't be singularly called as this
Right.
set, because sometimes
In general.
yeah, in general, it shows an introversion. It also shows too much sticking to the law, too much sticking to the law, like more than necessary.
Okay. Okay.
You have to be disciplined, but that doesn't mean you
So, sense of
blindly do whatever is written.
responsibility too high for me. Others doesn't matter. If something is written, I'll follow it.
Yes, yes. So, like in the army, they say that it's okay. There are a set of rules. There are a set of discipline. But you should also see what local orders precede other orders.
Yeah.
So you have to see what works for you.
In SSB, actually, most of the time we discuss on this also in the conference. It is like anybody whose SOR is too high, then
Yeah.
for him naturally you can find that social adaptability is less.
Yes.
And in ground, it is very evident because now the GTO tells, okay, you should not touch the red color, blue material should not touch, and all those things.
Yeah.
So what happens? This boy, he himself might not violate, but anybody by mistake violate, and the space we keep it is also so low that you have to be constrained. So
Yes.
with that, we put some more colors, then naturally you are bound to touch red somewhere. We do understand that. But there will be one guy who's like so rule abiding. He will tell like, oh, chest number
Don't
13,
do
you are
this.
on the
Don't do
red.
that.
You are on
And
13. Chest number 12, you are touching there. Go back. He will keep on doing this.
unnecessary corrections.
Ah,
Yeah.
he himself will be standing in the start line, but he will be pointing everyone. And
So,
what happens? The technique is also designed in such a way that group development happens. Like it is in 5 stages. It is like formation, exploration, competition, cooperation, and then last is discipline. Your task
yes.
is also designed by GD, everything has got some form of group development. But at the end, it is again comes back to us in the command test. Nobody will call him because he has pointed at
Yes.
everybody, because he's not wrong also, he's right, he wants like the rules not to be broken, but in the process his adaptability got broken. He has
Yes.
pinpointed fingers at everyone. Now nobody wants to sit with him, nobody wants to interact with him, because he has put down the group in front of an assessor. Others feel like यार
Exactly.
मैंने तो गलती की, साहब ने देखा नहीं देखा, we don't know GTO, but you have pointed to him कि I have done something.
Yes, yes, definitely, so definitely. And all these traits are so very visible in our handwriting, in our thought process. And handwriting, interestingly, brings out everything from your subconscious to the conscious. Everything can be understood in your handwriting.
Okay.
So if one, I mean, enhancement, we don't talk of enhancement in handwriting traditionally. If you go to a good graphologist, he will not say, okay, change this in your handwriting and your life will become flowery. Those things don't happen. It is more to work on your personality. It's more of an introspective exercise. It is to understand
Okay.
yourself better. And the why. Why are you like this? That
Okay.
is something which is very interesting that comes out in the handwriting. Because
Okay.
our mindset could be reasons of our social experiences, our personal experiences, our professional experiences. It is all
Correct.
experiential learning, which turns into a mindset. That means mindsets can be changed.
Huh.
Even if they are crystallized, if one works, mindsets can be changed.
Definitely.
In
I
the
totally agree
individual
with you.
points.
If I get a good experience, I feel like this is better. Like, for example, if I get into a 5-star hotel, maybe unfortunately, the moment I enter that room is not as per my imaginations and expectations, I suddenly should not feel like all 5-star hotels are like this. It should not be. It's just bare example per se.
Yes.
Yeah, that can be changed with the next positive experience.
Exactly. So that's why what we call in army the learning and unlearning. There's a constant motion happening in our mind. And we have to try to be aware of what we are turning into a mindset and what we should just leave it as a memory and let it fade away over a
Correct.
bit of time.
Correct.
I don't know the exact figures, but our brains every day form newer neurons, neural connections, and dissipate all the unnecessary neural connections. Okay, and in case of a newly born child or a baby, these neural connections are very limited.
Okay.
It's almost not there. But as you grow, you create neural connections, you then dissipate few neural connections. So that's why we
Okay.
don't remember what we studied in the in class 5th or
Because
6th.
it is disconnected.
Because it's disconnected. It's a memory which was not necessary for our mind. That is where, again, coming back to regular practice. Even handwriting in graphotherapy, we give regular practice, and we just encourage the participants to do the practice daily because it is going to create a muscle memory. And once that memory is created, to ensure that it becomes a mindset, it takes us at least a month to 40
Okay.
days.
Okay.
Generally 21 days to form a new habit. But why we are not able to be consistent in that after 21 days? That's where the mindset part plays in. So you can't leave it for 21 days. You have to see beyond. You have to give those what we call 21 days of practice and 9 days of regulating the practice to become a part of your routine.
All right.
So approximately a month it takes for your brain to form that habit as a
To
part of
set
it.
into that, okay, this is what it is.
Precisely. And that's why even if they are practicing for their SSB, you can tell them to write daily. Writing daily will declutter them and help them
Nowadays, the
with that.
biggest problem is they
They
don't
don't
write
write. They don't
because
write.
everywhere it is typing. Everywhere it is typing. Not to blame them also. It is like everywhere they go, it is all typing. College examinations, it is like this thing, objective. Just do it online and then move on. Now they lack writing. The moment they lack writing, actually your creativity goes for a 6.
Correct.
Your creativity is killed. When you are typing, I hardly find that creativity is flowing. You are typing, some mistake goes back now. While writing, you are in a flow to do.
So have you ever thought why we write only with these 3 fingers? Why don't we
No,
write like this?
no,
Because these
no.
3 fingers deal our intellect, intelligence, and memory.
What are all?
Intelligence, intellect, and memory.
Oh,
This has the more functions related to our auditory and other things.
okay. So that's why these three are helped.
That's why we hold the pen like this and we write.
New learning.
That's how your input from the subconscious is reaching into a motor
Fingers
activity and coming into.
and then conversion. Okay. But if you try practicing this, it won't happen much.
It won't happen. It will be difficult. It
Ah,
will develop a different part of your brain. It's
ah,
just that. It's
correct.
just that. So we give a lot of people. I know of people who have issues like there was this particular case of writer's cramp. Now that usually happens if not writing too much or excessive writing or stress, even stress. Sometimes the factors are not visible.
Okay.
So for them, we used to make this practice of putting a rubber band around the fingers, insert a pen, and then make them write like that.
Okay. Okay.
So that's how.
And so you're having the sessions happening. You're still taking classes for that. You're handwriting thing, or it is
Not
on a hold now.
not that much. It's only on demand, sir, that I take sessions.
Hmm.
I have now started incorporating analysis as an introspective exercise and some part of
Okay.
the graphotherapy along with yoga. This
Okay.
is especially I'm doing to see the impact on people who are dealing say relationship stress or different kind of some chronic stress issues who are
Okay.
suffering from.
Okay.
So I'm still working on it. I'm doing my findings and let's see how it turns out.
Yeah. Because some amount of solid research required before we say my study is fine.
Correct. Sure, sir. Absolutely. It takes time. And it's a very dynamic field, both yoga and graphology. Both are, we are talking of the mind. So it has to be something very dynamic.
Correct. Even that is the entire reason I wanted to do a GT appointment. I could have left early itself, but by then doing this tough course, it's actually GT course is the mental commander course in forces it is
Absolutely.
called. It is so painful. And after doing this, I'm like, without appointment, without experience, I'm not going out. Let me extend.
Yes, absolutely, sir. And in yoga, we say that when you experience something and then you coach or you're teaching that to people, you'll deliver it with more information and more conviction, and the other person also will feel that okay, this is something worth trying, something worth
Correct.
where I should put the effort.
Correct. Actually, because you learn a lot, you consolidate, you understand,
Yes,
and then you give it. Now, again, sometimes now when the similar to like candidates come to me, they tell like, sir, how I have to do the. Normally, I give them a tip at the last moment before going for a which is specific to what I observe and more relevant to their personality, which may not be applicable for the entire group.
correct, correct.
Somebody will like, for him, you told to not speak more. For me, you're telling to speak more. Because the personalities are like that. For somebody, I tell like, you increase your volume by 10%. For somebody, I tell like, you restrict your speech because you're over speaking, you're overcrowding. You're taking the maximum attention and losing out of data. Keep and release as and when required.
Exactly. So that also is again a very important activity which we should practice. Voluntary sharing of information. The control has to be in our hand, not in somebody else's hand. What you
Correct.
have to speak. Okay, so there will be triggers, but in that triggers also how much you have to give. That is something one has to understand. And all this regulation comes in only when you practice. It's all practice. How much
Correct,
you have to
definitely.
become more
Because
aware.
once, no, I saw one business investor and an auditor. They want to gel together, and I'm there. And I was just sitting observing their body language only. This guy doesn't want to give more about his office data and what is his plan and all this thing. That guy is just trying to take more data. and, like, and it was a wonderful learning for me how somebody's trying to pose a question and then poke and leave. And the other started giving and he realizing he's speaking so much and then he's restricting himself. Now there is a silence. Now who will break the silence? It's wonderful to learn body language actually.
Absolutely, sir. Like when I was in the army, I got the opportunity to design a elicitation course for my troops, and
Okay.
basically eliciting information non-verbal.
Hmm.
So from body language, of course, handwriting is one. Body language, gestures, kinetics, facial gestures.
Close.
So there is this muscle here.
Frontal lobe.
It's called a glabella here.
Okay.
It's just right above our eyebrow. It's very
Truth
difficult
and
to
light.
control. It clearly, the moment that moves, and you know it's a lie. So
Truth. Yes, entering officers are aware of this. Entering officers are aware of this. They'll be observing that.
yes, yes. So it's really funny when you understand gestures. It's just that we become observant only when needed. Otherwise, all human beings have the ability to understand gestures.
Yes.
But it's just, so I remember my husband was like, okay, hereafter we are not having any video calls. We'll only do. So
Even in recently, one of the books I was reading, I think that books is there's one book which I was reading that it was very clearly mentioned like women are very, very clear of taking verbal cues. Sorry, this non-verbal cues.
yes,
Reason being, and once they become a mother, and that is when they are getting trained for it, and that is when they are getting trained for it. Because first 6 months to 1 year, the baby is not going to speak, so they'll be always looking for the non-verbal cues, and they're tuned. Okay, this means this, this means this, this means this, and gradually, knowingly, unknowingly, not doing any course, they are tuned for it. And the
yes,
moment anybody says anything, so they are gone.
absolutely. And I think so. Intuitiveness is part of women naturally, like it's inherent to them.
Correct.
They are observant of minutest of details. A little change, even the salt bottle, if it is at a different place, you know that it has been moved.
Correct.
So, so that is the level of observation that they do. So yes, understand. Elicitation is also a method to understand yourself. What are you revealing when you are speaking to someone? When you are interacting with someone? So having an understanding of these things is also important apart from the usual preparation of SSB or CDS, because these are life skills. These will help you
Yeah.
through the life.
Sure. Actually, initial stages of GTO completion and then into assessment, no. Anybody and everybody speaking, you are an assessor back of the when you don't like it, but it is happening. You are trying to assess the what is he trying to say? Is he telling the truth or is he telling the lie? What will
Yes.
be running his mind? Then actually over a period of time, I was like, okay, this should not be applicable at my home. I should stop it. Then this should not be applicable here.
Once some young officers they came and they met me and they came and sat in the office to me and they said, "Ma'am, we have come to learn about the elicitation course and techniques from you." So I said, "Yes, you are interested, but I'm not very sure of this person." So the other person was flabbergasted. I said, "Your shoes are pointing outside, my dear. I think so. You are more interested of things outside than what we are in
Okay.
the room." So sometimes this also happens that, and I think so yoga has kind of added on to this, that intuitiveness. Now you're studying at understanding at a very subtle level of energy interaction, because we radiate electromagnetic energies.
Correct.
Moment somebody steps into the room, I'm like, I don't want to interact with this person. That is the
You get that
thought.
vibe.
I'm like, no, I don't want to interact with this person.
Mm.
So you start applying your defense mechanisms.
Mechanisms.
Yes.
Looking out ways to leave the place.
Yes. How do I leave this place? But yes, I think so. As we are moving on to technology, we should stay rooted to these human communications, because at the end of the day, we all communicate these ways only. It doesn't matter. You may have the best phone, the best car, and all these things, but people judge you by your gestures. People judge you by how actively you put yourself into things. And that's the whole SSB is all about, sir. I personally
Definitely,
feel.
that is
If
what
you're
it
a
is.
good human being, if you're a genuine human being, I personally feel one can clear SSB.
See, I'll tell you, we are not looking for some chief of army staffs at
Yes, we are
SSB.
looking for good human beings.
We are simply looking for a potential candidate. Now, potential candidate is a person who can who can do everything. not at the supreme levels, at a very average level.
Average.
Okay.
Yes.
And finally, the last line of the report says, uh, he is a potential candidate with adequate training at academy. He can groom himself to be an
Yes.
average officer.
Yes.
Is the
Yes.
last one, hence recommended.
Hence recommended. Correct.
That is the report which we carry. Likewise, other assessors also carry the same. These are the same lines. So because we are looking for an average officer now with training, obviously not we are not just telling only average officers. With the training, somebody gets on to groom and more, and with service, whatever conditions and the locations, how you are able to perform, and all those things will naturally make you, and then ultimately you reach the ladder, and then you are gone to the top. But at academy level, everybody is like a potential candidate. Yes, for somebody, the potential is little more with the facilities and the classes and the environment which is around him. Somebody gets to use it to the maximum of the potential, use it to the fullest, and then become a finest officer. And others are good officers. There is never a bad officer. Officer means good only. No, finest or the good. That's all.
Correct, sir. In fact, when aspirants come to me, I ask them this question. I love asking them this question. What is your aim? So they'll say, ma'am, my aim is to clear SSB or crack CDS. I'm like, you have lost it. If your aim is this, then you have lost it. Your aim cannot be this. These are part of your goals. These are the small
short-term goals.
Yes.
Short-term goals.
If this is your aim, then it's very difficult to clear your exam. Because if the aim is not to become a good officer, then what are you here for?
What are you trying? This SSB cracking series is just a process to become that.
It's just a process.
It's a process. Correct. It is not the end result. You have to go through the process so that you achieve what you want. If you are thinking this is my aim, then what will you do after that?
Exactly. But also, sir, if you see, when people go with this aim that I want to just clear the SSB, they end up having a lot of discomfort in the organization also, because it's a shock. They have imagined it the way it was in the poster, and that's all.
Correct. Most of the time it is myths. They get carried away, feeling like every day morning they're getting up and killing one Pakistani in the border.
Yes.
And then flying in the fighter jet every day morning,
yes.
bombing missiles.
Yes.
That is not going to happen every day.
Mount Everest. That is not what we do every day. The everyday life is equally challenging because you have to deal human beings. You have to deal our troops. So that's
Tomorrow I kept a session for that. My own course mate, Aray Sharma, is joining me. Like, what does naval aviators do? What we both did while flying Dorniers, and how an aviator life look like is what I'm going to speak now, because SSB is something which most of them have spoken. But there is something which the candidates are not aspiring, and the present day movies is what a medium which they found. And the recent movies have not portrayed what actually happened. They have dramatized it so much. It's like holding one helicopter in one hand and throwing that way. That is not what we are going to do every day.
Yes.
So that's why I kept the session like, okay, I should at least tell them this is how your life will be. Now you take a call whether your personality is going to suit this. Get this awareness and then get into it. Otherwise, like, okay, somebody told me to become an officer, I joined. Now I'm not happy because my personality is not suiting me to the environment which is around me. Then it is like, अभी तो घुस गया है, parents बोलेंगे इज्जत हो गया, ये हो गया, pride है, you are the son of soil, you can't live like this. Or pressure.
Yes, yes, sir. And I don't even want to talk about how the intelligence people are portrayed in the movies, because that is next level horrendous portrayal. People think that, ma'am, people ask me this question. So, ma'am, have you gone across like covert ops? And like, we don't do it like a daily thing, Like today, I feel like flying to UK or US. It doesn't happen like that.
And sometimes when my dad introduced me to somebody, my son is in Navy, like, where's your six-pack? But it's like every day I should roam with six-pack showing body.
Yes, that's a very different level only, sir, where they expect, oh, you were in the army, and they'll give you the look like this. It doesn't look like.
Like everybody has to be like having a body like John Abraham and Salman Khan, six-pack ke saath hi ghumenge, bina kapde ghumenge.
Yes, sir. So there's a lot that, of course, I'm happy that at least cinema is trying to portray the armed forces. I mean, that itself is a big thing. Otherwise, earlier, it wasn't so much.
This is one way of portrayal. The other way is like, there are, especially in South, what I'm trying to face and struggle is like, the parents mostly are feeling, because North mein the amount of action army is shown or the awareness is there, South mein there is not at all there.
No, yes.
And finally what they have is, if you join army, you'll come in coffin. That is what movie has shown them. That's what the climax of the movie has shown them. So they're feeling like, sir, if I put my son into NDA, if I put my son into army as an officer, sir, I have got only one son, sir. Why will I do this? So that is the level
Yes.
of communication nowadays I'm striking with parents. But I'm telling, sir, the life will not be like this. Your son
Correct.
going into a car, traveling, and then the number of road accidents happening in our country, and the number of army officers or like anybody dying. If you see the percentage per se, you can't even compare it. This is like 100 times. This is not even one. This is in point one.
Yes, yes, and COVID has also shown us, sir, that
Hmm.
COVID has been the best experience we have had. That
Yeah.
one need not go to the only to the French to die. You can
Hmm.
die sitting in your home.
Home.
You know? And
Correct.
these days, heart attacks are again a major problem we are seeing amongst the youth, among the middle-aged, because of the stress, peer pressure. So yeah, and I'm very sure with your efforts, parents will start understanding this that harm
Now,
is not just
that's what I'm also planning. I'm planning to have a session, especially in Tamil once, and once in Hindi, once in English, only with parents. Students
only
not
with
required.
parents.
Parents
Yes,
come, you ask all your doubts. I'll break all your myths, whatever you're feeling about armed forces, and
yes,
then let us speak about your children's future. Because nowadays, students and children are far better. Now, the moment a son wants to tell or a girl wants to tell, okay, I want to join NDA, no, parents are like, no, don't join, you'll die. Okay, let's crack the myth of the parents first. So this is also in the process. Maybe in 1 or 2 weeks' time, I'm planning for a session like this.
that's great, sir. That's great.
How did it be? Let's call it a day. It's
Yes,
been more
yes,
than
sir.
about 1 hour plus. All right.
Yes,
Thank you so much for coming, and it was really helpful. And it is not that standard way of really helpful. It is genuinely helpful. I came to know two, three more things. And if at all, if your handwriting course is still on, I would like to enroll. Personally, I'm asking.
sure,
I'll
sir.
call you
Sure,
again
sir. For you,
after
I
this
can
session. I'll call
definitely
you
do
again
anything.
because that will help me to understand my candidates even better.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir. Definitely, definitely. We
Okay.
can connect on that. And
Sure.
thank you
Will
so
do.
much for the opportunity, sir. It was a pleasure connecting like this on Instagram.
Yeah.
It has always been a pleasure to interact with you. And
Sure.
thank you.
And
All the
from
very
your side, if
best
you
for
have
your.
any aspirants who are like really from a background where unable to afford a coaching or something like that, please do let me know. If it
Sure,
is a
sir.
genuine case, I'm open. I'm open. Okay, I'll definitely do free of cost.
That's great, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you so
Thanks.
much. Jai
Thanks,
Hind,
Andy.
sir,
Thanks a
and
lot.
thank you to
Have a
all
good
the
day.
viewers.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.